What's up, Vikings Nation? Lock in right now, because today's Minnesota Vikings news could shape the future of this defense for years to come. This is one of those moments where rumors, odds, and reality collide, and as fans, we can't afford to look away. There's a storm brewing around one name, and you already know it. Brian Flores, defensive architect, culture setter, the man who helped turn the Vikings defense into a feared unit across the league. So here's the teaser that should hit you right in the chest. Are we watching the final chapters of Brian Flores in Minnesota? Or is the rest of the NFL about to blink and let the Vikings keep their defensive mastermind a little longer? Right now, the head coaching carousel across the NFL is spinning fast, and Brian Flores is right in the middle of the conversation. 9 head coaching vacancies opened across the league, and yet Flores has officially interviewed for only one so far. That interview came with the Baltimore Ravens, a franchise known for valuing strong defensive minds. But here's where it gets interesting. Interviews don't always tell the full story when betting odds start talking. Oddsmakers have been loud, and they're telling us that Flores is still one of the most sought-after coaching minds in football. And that puts Minnesota Vikings fans in a very tense waiting game. According to betting markets, Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores remains the heavy favorite to become the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. His odds currently sit at plus 150, which is no joke in betting terms. That means Vegas sees Flores as a frontrunner, not just a casual option. Even more interesting, his odds to land the Ravens job are also strong, tied for third best at plus 450 in a very crowded field. When sportsbooks start moving odds like this, it's usually because league insiders are whispering. And those whispers are making Vikings fans nervous for all the right reasons. The Ravens' job, though, is far from settled. Reports suggest it's one of the most wide-open coaching races on the board, with several strong candidates still very much in play. Kevin Stefanski, currently with the Cleveland Browns, is one of those names. He has a deep history facing Baltimore, and familiarity matters more than people think in these hiring decisions. For Vikings fans, Stefanski's name popping up here could quietly be good news, because every job Flores doesn't land increases the chances Minnesota keeps its defensive heartbeat intact. ESPN's Dan Graziano threw another wrinkle into the story with his full slate of head coaching predictions. And according to his projections, Brian Flores may once again fall just short of a head coaching return. Graziano predicts that the Ravens will ultimately choose Kevin Stefanski over Flores. His reasoning centers on regional fit, familiarity, and Stefanski's steady reputation among ownership circles. If this prediction holds even partially true, it could be a massive turning point for the Minnesota Vikings and their plans moving forward. Graziano didn't stop there. He also projected that the Las Vegas Raiders would go in a completely different direction, targeting defensive coordinator Robert Saleh from the San Francisco 49ers. Saleh's resurgence in San Francisco has been impossible to ignore, and his ties to the Shanahan and McVay coaching tree make him extremely attractive to front offices. If the Raiders go with Saleh, that door quietly closes for Flores, removing what many believe is his strongest head coaching path. Now zoom out for a second, Vikings fans, because this is where the tension really builds. If Flores misses out on Baltimore and Las Vegas, the head coaching cycle may end without his name being called. That would mark yet another offseason where Flores resumes screams, head coach. But the league hesitates. And that hesitation has been a major talking point around the NFL. Some believe the shadow of his discrimination lawsuit against the NFL still lingers, even after everything he's accomplished in Minnesota. Let's not forget the facts. Flores was fired by Miami after a 24-25 record across 3 seasons, a decision that shocked many around the league. After that firing, he filed a discrimination lawsuit against the NFL, the New York Giants, the Denver Broncos, and the Houston Texans. That move changed the trajectory of his career overnight. Despite all of that, Flores rebuilt his reputation brick by brick, proving in Minnesota that elite coaching always finds a way to shine. Under Flores, the Vikings' defense transformed. Pressure packages became unpredictable. Young players developed fast. Veterans bought in completely. Statistically, Minnesota took major steps forward in key defensive categories, especially situational football and third down efficiency. Around the league, executives noticed. Players noticed. Coaches noticed. Flores didn't just survive, he dominated his role. If the head coaching door stays closed, another door swings wide open. Defensive coordinator demand. And that demand is about to explode. Multiple teams are expected to have open DC positions once the head coaching hires are finalized. And Flores sits at the top of that list. One team already being linked to him is the Dallas Cowboys, a high-profile destination that could come with serious financial leverage. And here's the part Vikings fans need to hear clearly. The Minnesota Vikings want Brian Flores back, not just for 2025, but for 2026 and beyond. They understand what they have. Stability on defense, leadership in the locker room, a system players believe in. But wanting him back and being able to keep him are two very different things when bidding wars begin. If multiple teams come calling with coordinator offers, Flores could command top-of-market money and full control over scheme and staff. That puts pressure on Minnesota's front office to step up and make a serious commitment. Because losing Flores wouldn't just be losing a coach. It would mean resetting an identity that took years to build. And that's the real fear behind all these rumors. Continuity matters. Chemistry matters. And the Vikings defense finally has both. So here we are, Vikings Nation, standing at a crossroads. Either the league finally gives Brian Flores another head coaching shot, or Minnesota faces a massive fight to keep him home. Every prediction, every betting line, every report shifts the balance just a little more each day. And until that final decision drops, this story is far from over. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Brian Flores will land a head coaching job this cycle? Or do you think the Vikings have a real chance to keep him? Would you pay top dollar to lock him in long term? Or is this just the cost of success in the NFL? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, subscribe for more Minnesota Vikings news, and share this with every Vikings fan you know. Skol, and I'll see you in the next one.